Jersey Shore, Teen Moms. I'm talking about the original MTV, where they played nothing but music and music videos. If you do, then you're showing your age. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then this is the video for you. But before we get started, if this is your first time seeing my face, well, welcome. I am ASMRmajestic, and please remember to hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button, and that helps this channel get recognized more. Please share this video on all your social media platforms, and down below, let me know what's the first thing you remember about MTV, whether it was the very first music video you watched, or award show, or whatever. What's your first memory of MTV? Let me know down in the comment section. If you haven't already, please think about joining my Patreon, and also please click the link down below, which will be in my description box of my brand new merch store. So, what happened to MTV? By the way, I'm also going to give some things I found out about shows like MTV Cribs and Pimp My Ride. So there's some things that are not exactly what we thought they would be. So let's get into all this mess. So let's see, a lot of this is just jokes like in the beginning. So okay. Okay, let's discuss what happened to MTV in this article. Okay, MTV was Sight on Sound, a Warner Cable product that consisted of music channel with concert footage and music-oriented content, but no original music videos. Even before I began, the first music video that I remember on MTV was, goddammit, it was Michael Jackson. And for me, it was Thriller. It was Thriller, and I gotta think of that other one. It was that video that he was like, every time he walked, like the step would light up or the square would light up. What music video was that? Anyway, those two music videos by Michael Jackson was, and the other video, oh, Madonna. Although I can't remember which one it was, but I know it was Madonna. Madonna and Michael Jackson were the first two. Damn it, what video of that? It's one of Michael Jackson's first, like, original, like, old Mike. Was it Billie Jean? I'm bothered now. I think it might have been Billie Jean. Like I said, every time he danced or walked or something, the square would light the fuck up. Anyway, but yeah, that's my first actual memory of MTV. Okay. In turn, this channel was part of the Cube system, Warner AMAX interactive cable television system prototype. Viewers could vote on their favorite song and artist, win prizes, and interact with DJs. Think of it as the predecessor to interactive media all together. But MTV, as we once knew it, was Robert W. Pittman's product, a visionary executive. Thanks to his experience in the music industry, he had come up with an idea to create a network dedicated only to music. That's what I'm saying. a certain hour. I would say maybe between the hours like 11 and 1 a.m. I don't know. I don't remember if it was during the week, but it was definitely on the weekends between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. That's when like the raunchy music videos came on with the rappers and the half-assed, dancers and bathing suits and twerking in the pool. Like if you were 13, like 11, 12, 13, 14, that was like porn for you, okay? But I have to say this though, back in the day, MTV wasn't in everyone's household. MTV back then was a luxury. Like you had to pay for MTV. It was expensive too. So yeah, not everyone had it. So I remember like people used to come over to my house when I was little to watch like MTV and music videos and Michael Jackson, because like I said, we didn't have that back in the day. And or like Bobby Brown, and my sister used to watch like Paula Abdul was big back then. Pebbles, New Kids on the Block. I'm showing my age right now. Anyway, let's continue. It wouldn't be any music channel. It would be the total opposite. Pittman knew he had to aim to be anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian, and have the under 30 audience at his grasp. MTV wouldn't be afraid of playing rock songs with the latest and craziest music videos. Its DJ would be young and cool, and the stages would have delirious backgrounds. Pittman even hired the Manhattan Design Studio to create the iconic MTV logo, and it was the first step towards making history, but a rocky one. And thus MTV was born just after midnight on August 1st, 1981. It premiered with the song Video Killed the Radio Star by the Bugles. Those who remember the earliest MTV days could have thought it was a successful start, but besides an impactful first impression, MTV struggled. Music videos were scarce because no one made them, because they weren't a thing. So there weren't many to pass around, and the network had to repeat all its inventory. That's another thing about MTV. They would recycle the same videos over and over and over and over again. The VJs often spoke for a long period of time between videos. They kind of like fill, because again there wasn't enough videos to go around. Yes, they talked about music, but it wasn't fun because it got old after a while, And let's remember that MTV was a cable channel, which was a luxury back then, which I just mentioned. Not only that, his personality threw off many of the more conservative cable networks. Craig Marks co-wrote the book I Want My MTV, the uncensored story of the music video revolution. Here's how he summarized society's perception of MTV. They thought that MTV was a bunch of coked up rock and roll fans, and they were right in a way. Facing a lack of public approval, Pittman began the I Want My MTV campaign. It was a fiery set of ads featuring rock and pop stars like The Police and Mick Jagger demanding their rock channel. If that wasn't enough, the channel expanded its categories to include more artists and genres like rhythm, blues, and disco. And amongst these was Michael Jackson with his trend-setting videos. Jackson was obviously a hit, followed by other huge names like Madonna, Guns N' Roses. Executive loved the numbers and fans loved the music, but it was more than that. It was a culture change. Record stores near where MTV was broadcast noticed an increase Headbangers Ball for heavy metal, Yo MTV Raps for hip hop, and 120 Minutes for alternative rock. Alternative rock. I think it was I remember Yo MTV Rap, right? But I can't remember what those videos were like after hours, like the raunchy video. There was a name for that, but I can't think of it right now. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know down below. These segments did work though, because again, like, people who wanted to listen to rap came on. Yo MTV Raps came on at 4 o'clock. I will always remember that. It came on at 4 p.m. So it was like, if you liked rock and roll, you knew the hour that you would tune into MTV. If you like rap, you knew you turned into 4 o'clock, and so on and so forth. After all, they were the platform for other upcoming artists like Pearl Jam and rap icons like Dre. So this gave an opportunity for all types of music to get their shine. But it marked a shift in MTV's identity. By 1987, the birth of other programs like MTV News, Remote Control, House of Styles, and Club MTV showed that the network was willing to venture into dance, fashion, and games. Even Pittman, the one who helped MTV transcend, couldn't cope with these changes. He left in 1987 after being unable to buy back the network. Viacom's aggressive MTV expansion continued with its own awards, the Video Music Awards, the MTV Awards. That's probably like the only thing I really watch on MTV. Well, now anyway, we'll get into as we go. Okay, so we have the MTV Music Awards, the spin-off called the MTV Movie Awards, the Europe Music Awards. Why does Europe have their own music awards? So MTV was unstoppable, but looked beyond music to do so. See, when people start like selling their soul and stuff, that's when things go wrong. In 1992, MTV launched its own reality show, The Real World. Now that's where I'm gonna start, In 92, I was 12 years old, and I gotta say, I really wasn't much of a TV person back in like middle school. Like, I had my TV shows, but definitely in high school I definitely wasn't a TV head at all. But The Real World, like, I really wasn't into reality TV like that. Like, at first I probably didn't even get it back then, but also too, I know for a fact my mother would not have allowed me to watch this crap, because I didn't watch The Real World. I actually watched The Real World Vegas, and that was probably the first real like season or whatever of any reality shit on MTV that I even like glanced at. Launched the reality show showing young people's struggles with sexuality, drugs, depression, and partying, but it didn't do it in a good way. Real World, in your terms, or people who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, is the Jersey Shore. In your terms, we first had the Real World, and then I think it was like the Real World, then Teen Moms, and then like Jersey Shore or something like that. But yeah, the Real World is the Jersey Shore, same concept. 8 women, 8 men in a big ass house. No, I would say no television, but I do remember one of them. I think they were showing like the Twin Towers or something like that, or maybe they did that because producers thought that they should know what's going on. But yeah, anyway, there's no TV. They also had to get jobs. It's just like the Jersey Shore. But like I said, it did not that show a lot of people in a good way, because they were trying to do controversial topics, but it didn't run people, the right way. The show took the world by storm and further cemented MTV's identity as a vehicle for social topics and the occasional controversial episodes and occasional music. Actually, there was one Real World that I remember because it actually made news, and in one of the episodes, it was a young lady who was expressing how she found out she was pregnant and she is just not ready, and she was actually she wasn't gonna have it, let's just say. And that was the first time on TV, and it was a black young lady at that. So a black young lady is on the Real World. I think she might have been like 19 or 20 or something like that, is telling the world that she's not having this baby, and we actually go on her journey, so now let's be clear, there was music and it was huge. They had artists like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. It also featured metal bands like White Zombie and gangster rap like Tupac and Biggie. Videos have become events in themselves. Artists wanted to outdo other artists, and renowned directors were eager to direct them. Everyone definitely was trying to keep up with, Madonna's videos and Michael Jackson's videos and stuff like that. And yeah, by the mid 90s, most of MTV content was not about music. It was so distant from music that the network launched MTV2 in 1996 to go back to its roots. MTV2 began just like the original version, but changed to genre, specifically blogs, and eventually yielded to reality show and gossip, just like MTV's. Because by now, it's like, so now like MTV2 is trying to go back to its roots, but the people who watch the original MTV are grown now. And again, I can't remember the last music video I watched on TV. I mean, that's not true. Well, because now like people drop their music videos on YouTube. They're smart about it. They're not gonna drop it like on, do we even have VH1 anymore? Is there VH1? But my point is, like, no one's gonna drop their music video on like their premiere music video on BET. Like, no, you're gonna drop your music video on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or whatever people listen to nowadays. But no one even buys records anymore or albums, and that was the point of MTV, to like listen to the singles and stuff to figure out, what you wanted to. Anyway, take the teen pop craze of the late 90s. MTV knew it had to be part of it. The Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, they were huge. So pop video rotation increased, and other saw less exposure. Yeah, because if the biggest thing is Backstreet Boys, no one's gonna want to listen to like Guns N' Roses if they weren't popping back then at that particular moment. MTV opened its Times Square studio and launched Total Request Live, aka TRL. Now I have to admit, I never watched TRL, but by then I don't even know what MTV was doing by then, to be honest. But TRL was basically like it was in Times Square in New York City, and what happens is your favorite artists would come and they would have people outside like waiting all day, and they would shut down Times Square, and you would have like the screaming fans, and sometimes they would either like do the performance on top of the building, or they would do it like in the crowd, later after they were interviewed by the hosts on TRL. But something for you to Google if you want to see like one of the craziest TRLs. Google Mariah Carey's bizarre action or bizarre behavior. Type in Mariah Carey's bizarre behavior on TRL. You'll thank me later. Thousands of screaming fanatic fans flooded the streets, but the show, music, Carlson Daly, he was a likable host. He made the show more likable, but he talked a lot and he made it more than a music show. And it drew in millions of viewers, but it also outlined the debate were music networks really about music? After all, MTV was doing it all it could to survive as a brand, not as a music network. And the numbers showed by 2008, MTV played only 3 hours of music videos per day from 8 hours in 2000. So there was an 8-year difference. We went from 8 hours to only 3 hours a day of just music. And as you can see, I completely lost all types of sunlight out here. So just go with the peoples. And then it says Billboard magazine wrote, MTV has these non-music shows on for the sake of immediate ratings. There will always be that tension between the music industry and MTV when MTV doesn't support music. Right? And MTV stands for music television, if you haven't figured that out already. So, but no, seriously, is VH1 still a show or a channel? I'm just curious. In 2008, MTV was losing its grip on music. TRL was cancelled, and some blaming it on Carson Daly departure. But in reality, TRL had degraded itself to prank celebrity interviews and unlikable hosts. And that was because younger viewers had found somewhere new to enjoy their music instead of TV. It makes perfect sense. Music now came from computers, iPods, and downloading albums. And remember back in the day too, you were able to buy like whatever single was out. But see, nowadays like you can go on Apple Music or whatever and pick and choose what song you want to download. But back in the day, you had to buy a whole fucking album to get like the single you want or like the couple of songs that you wanted. It's crazy. And it made sense because a single, like to buy a single was like $6 and a whole album was like 10. So it didn't make sense to keep continuing buying singles. You might as well just buy the fucking album, whether it sucked or not. And so alright, so MTV rushed to replicate some of successful products like Real World and game shows like Teen Mom. Teen Mom to me was just, at first I understood the concept, but that became a shit show in my eyes. The Hills, I actually watched The Hills. Actually, it's funny, I didn't watch The Hills when it was out, but I watched The Hills during one of my surgeries that I had. I actually binge watched the whole fucking thing. Even shows like Pimp My Ride. Some fun facts about Pimp My Ride. Now, that show was actually awesome, if I'm being honest. I love Exhibit. I thought he was the best host. I don't think any other host could have done a better job than what he did. That being said, we found out a couple of interesting things. Number one, on shows, things look like it takes like, a day or two or a week. But no, some of these people said that they didn't have their cars for like 6, 7, 9 months. Okay, 9 months without having a car, Another thing I found interesting about the show is that, the show is about turning a lemon into a pimp ride, right? But what's the point of having a pimp ride if the car doesn't run? And a lot of people had like engine problems, transmission problems, and so you pimp my ride, but if the shit can't make it up the hill, then what's the point? And so the executive television shot or whatever is shot. What's the point, you know? Another thing that I found interesting is that so we see the finished product, right? And the people, whoever the owner of the car is, they're only allowed to drive it a certain distance, and then after that, they have to bring it back because some of that shit we see is taken off. Ain't that some shit? To like, if you have like a movie screen in the back, they're taking it back out. Like, that shit is crazy. MTV cribs, it's sad to say, but 80% of those cribs were fucking rented. They were leased, they were rented, they weren't even like the celebrity's actual house. They didn't own it, they didn't buy it, it was all like a hoax. So it's just like social media, everything you see is not exactly what you see. Everything you see is not exactly what you see. Everything you see is not exactly what you see. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause social media, by the way, Bet My Ride up until 2017 was the longest running show in TV history. The reality show era had begun. And then it says here, former MTV VJ Adam Curry told CNET that it was the best decision MTV ever made. Plus, he revealed some interesting facts. Remember what we said, that in the 80s, MTV was the first cable network to show profit? Well, music wasn't their primary source of income. It never was. Sorry for the dog, y'all. I just can't. MTV was the first cable network to show a profit. Okay, well, music wasn't their primary source of income. It never was. But cringe reality show seems to work. In 2011, MTV was a $4 billion a year business. But it was fighting a losing battle. MTV had very little to offer against the new wave of consuming content. Instead of waiting for celebrity fashion and controversy at the VMAs, fans followed their favorite celebrities on social networks. Oh, that's right, they had that thing before the Joan Rivers. What was Joan Rivers on? It was something about the red carpet, and she would talk about fashion. Actually, she got in trouble with her mouth a couple of times about talking about certain people, but God, I can't think of that show either. But Fashion Police, I think it was called, or something like that. I don't know. I think it was a Fashion Police. Then there was the rise of YouTube as a platform for consuming music. You know, let's take Sweet Child O' Mine's by Guns N' Roses, a video made famous by MTV. In Guns N' Roses YouTube channel, it has 1.2 billion views. This fucking dog. Oh my god, I can't. Let's just wrap this up. In Guns N' Roses YouTube channel, it has 1.2 billion views. No standalone platform could ever come close to competing with this. What happened to MTV was a constant struggle to survive. They had tried it all, from rock to teen pop, from reality shows to more reality shows, and whatever Jersey Shore is. But okay, so Jersey Shore for me was probably the first reality show on TV that I actually watched from beginning to end when it aired. I watched The Real World, like I said, during one of my surgeries or whatever, and then The Hills I watched during one of my surgeries. I don't think I actually watched any other MTV reality shows, if I can. Oh, there was a reality show called Scream. But wait, was that on MTV? I don't even know now. What did happen to, or Scream Queens or some shit? I don't know. But yeah, Jersey Shore was a fucking mess. Jersey Shore was a mess. But see, when Jersey Shore came about, I was a lot older. A lot older, obviously. If you turn into, also too, wasn't there, Ashton Kutcher, didn't he do, wasn't his prank show on MTV too? Ridiculousness, I know what that is, but I don't watch it. You'll find hours of star shows, reality shows, but it can bore you quickly, and that's the problem. Every generation's different. Some remember MTV for legendary Unplugged. I liked Unplugged. Unplugged would be like the backstory of like, you know, your favorite group or the video or what happened to so and so. Like I liked, and then Unplugged too also had like concerts, like intimate concert, like with Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande was on there, Whitney Houston did a few. Like I said, it was just like an intimate type of concert that people put on for MTV, you know. Fear Factor was another one. Fear Factor, I think everybody knows what Fear Factor is. And then the question is MTV dead? And the answer is in its own history. As a music concept, it died in the 2000s. As a brand, something that died around 2009, 2010. We've seen MTV had tried several times to create apps, revamp its social network, and capture more fans. But which fans? Certainly not 16 and 24-year-olds. They have TikTok and the attention span of a goldfish. Oh, that show Catfish, that show gets repetitive fast. It gets boring fast because it's like, okay, after season 1, maybe season 2, it's like you're a fucking idiot then. I don't know what else to say about that. That MTV actually has a YouTube music channel, but as of lately, they only have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And let's face it, you know, music videos get more love than that. So anyway, so that's basically it. MTV is just basically shit. I think MTV, what do I watch on MTV now? I do watch Wild 'N Out. I do watch that. I did used to watch the Jersey Shore. I do watch the MTV Awards, although I have to record those so I can, you know, skim through like performances that I don't want to see, because even that,